How often do you second guess yourself? Hello, you neurospicy, multi-passionate, beautiful human you. Welcome to today's nugget of nudging that you didn't know you needed to move the needle forward in your business. Whether it's second guessing yourself on a decision that you've made that your inner being and your gut said fuck yes to, and then later on that day or even the next day, your brain starts in and starts going, but what about this? And did you forget about this? And maybe this isn't such a good idea. And what if this happens? Or you make a post, you make a piece of content, you do something that goes against the norm or feels a little bit scary, and then you get some pushback. What happens? Do you recoil and decide, well, I might have made a mistake, even though your inner being and your heart says that you didn't? Do you backpedal? And do you decide to stay in the safe zone and the known of what you've always done? Or do you have ways to move that energy on out, to remind yourself of what's true, to sit up here and realize you are not your thoughts or your feelings so that you continue to move forward and be your badass self? Are you able to sit in the uncomfortableness, whether that's within yourself or the uncomfortableness of being seen and having somebody else say, nah, that's not for me. No, this is the way you should do it. This is what I think. And allowing them to have that space and also staying true to yourself. I saw a reel recently that Layla Hormozi put out about how it's not fear of failure that keeps people from doing things that they should be doing or moving forward towards their dream. It's looking for approval from other people outside of yourself. That's what keeps you stuck more often than fear of failure. And just to bring a little bit of the woo-woo into it, we are in the last week and a half-ish of the year of the snake, which is shedding. And I've seen a lot of content put out about, most of it's looking forward to the year of the horse, right? The year of the fire horse that's to come. It starts on the 18th because the year of the snake ends on the 17th, I believe. Don't come at me if I'm got the dates wrong. And we like to think when it's close to the end of a season or a trial or whatever it is, could be the end of anything, that it gets easier, that the worst is done, that the bulk of the change has happened. But what I'm noticing this last week or so is some funk coming out, some funk both within myself and also with other people. And for myself, I'm able to most of the time lean in, because I've done lots of practicing on leaning into the uncomfortable on purpose, because I know that on the other side of the uncomfortableness is growth and expansion. Does that mean that I have to change my mind about the uncomfortable? Nope. Because like we've talked before, especially if you're trying something new or you get new information, it can either cement your experience and your theory, your thought, your choice, or it can show you a different way of looking at things, and it might change some things within you. Some things that I've realized over the past week is that I am no longer available to do superficial level BS. I'm not here to explain all of the nuances about what I'm doing or why I am the way I am or how I achieve these things with people that are just interested on a very superficial level. That doesn't make my soul happy. What makes my inner being most happy is when there's a give and a take and there's depth. And without the depth, there really is not a whole lot of anything in something for me. And while that may sound selfish, I'm allowed to try things on. I'm allowed to have boundaries. I'm allowed to say, this isn't for me. Does that mean that I won't be helping people? Nope. Does that mean that I'm not interested in talking about the weather or small things or what happened over the weekend? Nope. I'm just no longer interested in doing these things on an energy exchange level where it's somebody mining me for all of the things with no energetic exchange whatsoever. I also realized that doing things like breath work and what you might say manifestation or energy work, things like that, I'm also not doing those things in groups of people where I don't have other folks that I'm already deeply connected with. Why? Because I tend to go very deep, and while yes, I can regulate myself after, and I can just hold what is meant for me after, it's so much better when there are other people around me that also get it, and they also have deep experiences, and we can share back and forth. I woke up the other day, traveled back home from LA, got to meet some amazing humans there, had the best time, and also woke up the next day saying, I don't think I'm going to travel much for a while, because there was this push-pull, sort of thing. And then 4 hours later, in true manifesting generator design, I had a flight booked for me and two of my teens and an Airbnb booked in New Orleans to go visit a very dear school friend and her two older teens, so that we can go meander around and hang out and yes, chat business, but also chat life and chat human design and all the different things. And I'm seriously excited about it. And that's what I'm manifesting more of for the coming year. And I've seen various examples, whether it's in my community or somewhere else, where I've watched folks second guess what they've said, what they've posted, or had somebody give pushback, and then they decide to completely remove their post or remove themselves, which is fine if that's the best thing. And sometimes when we dip our toes into speaking our truth and being authentically us, it can create that friction and creates a space where you're seen. And if you are speaking your truth and you are being authentically yourself, it can cause other people to project onto you. And you have to remember that that's not yours. And you get to choose what to do with it. And when you start dipping your toes into being more authentically you and speaking your truth and saying the things that go against what other people believe for themselves, the universe is going to present you with opportunities to be like, are you sure that you don't want to come back and be where it's safe and comfortable and known? Because being seen isn't always easy, but it's kind of a requirement as you're building a business, especially if you're trying to build something that's truly aligned to who you are and that is calling the people in that are your energy match. If you are being authentically yourself and walking in your alignment, bringing people in is one thing, but the other side of that is pushing the people away that it's not for, that are not energetically aligned with you. That's just part of the process. But you know what? It's so worth it. If you can lean in and you continue to dip your toes in to that growth and that expansion, I bet, I can almost promise you, that the doors that open on the other side of that and the folks that you attract into your space and the way things happen after that as you continue to move forward will be worth so much more than staying in your comfort zone. Because like we've talked about, if you were the person right this moment that could hold that dream you have, you would already have it. So being able to step into the unknown, to dip your toes into saying the hard thing, saying the thing that goes against what everybody else says and thinks in your niche, that's one of the first steps into building the business that's actually aligned with what you hope to build. And it's completely normal to go through this sort of shit. Everybody goes through this, and it's not a once and done thing. Every time you think you've got it figured out or that your mind is hushed when you take bigger steps and you try new things, just wait. It will come back, just like that whisper. It was more of a whisper after I had booked all of the flights and the Airbnb. I woke up the next morning, I was like, my brain was whispering, you should have saved the money. Are you sure you want to do this? You said you didn't want to travel anymore for a while. What about this? What if this happens? All of that stuff. Now, granted, it was more than a whisper because I've been working on this for the last several years. Hardcore, almost. But it was still there, right? And then I can remind myself of what's true. And then I get myself, it's snow right now. When I can put my feet on the grass. I can get sunshine in my eyeballs. I can move my body, turn my loud music on. I can go for a drive and sing at the top of my lungs to some kid favorite music from my childhood, right? There are lots of things that I can do to be more grounded in my body. My friend Jess says that a lot of the problem that we have as humans is that we need to get the fuck out of our head and get more into our bodies. And I happen to agree with her. So there are lots of ways to get more in your body and out of your head, because our head just keeps us spinning often. And when we can get out of our head and into our bodies, then things look a little differently. And then the more you do something, the more you dip your toes in, the more that you choose to be seen, the easier it gets. It doesn't feel quite so hard because you realize that you didn't die, right? The last time that you did something new, it wasn't as bad as what your brain tried to tell you it was. And then you can just get on with your badass self, right? So here's your nudge. That thing that you've been thinking about doing, maybe the thing that you just tried to do and dip your toes in and then recoiled and backed up because somebody said something or shared something with you that they didn't like about what you did and all of that other stuff. If they're not paying your bills, they're not your immediate family circle, do you really need to, like, yeah, sure, think about it. But, like, if what they're saying doesn't resonate with you and isn't true for what you've chosen, then you don't need to put that on yourself. It's likely just a projection of theirs from their lens and their perspective. And that's perfectly okay. They're allowed to have that. We can all exist and have our different perspectives and realize that not everyone is for us and we're not for everyone. And we can still be gracious humans and love each other and give them space and take up space ourselves. And the thing that will help with that fear and with the hesitation of doing something new is dipping your toes in, taking some small kind of messy action. Do that. See how it goes. Evaluate, refine, take more messy action. That's another way to get out of your brain and into your body, is to do the thing. Choose to be audacious. Choose to be daring. Choose to step outside of your comfort zone. If you need a permission slip, I've got you one right here. And if you need a space where you can join loads of other humans doing messy AF things, growing their business in their own way, without the hustle BS and guru bro marketing crap, check out our space. It's called Fix Your Funk. We'd love to see you inside. See you on the next one.